Hi guys, it's Sandy from the Padel School here, and in this video we're going to give you 3 tips on how you can hit a winner during the point. The first tip is to be patient, because in padel it's not necessarily easy to hit a winner. In tennis, if the ball goes past your opponent, you've won the point. Whereas here, if it goes past your opponent, they've got another opportunity after the rebound to defend that ball. So you need to be sensible and you need to play in a way that is strategic. It's a little bit like chess. You need to maneuver your opponent to get checkmate. You can't just do it straight away. And the same here. You need to force your opponent into a position in the court, open up gaps, and that way you can then aim for those gaps to hit your winner.
This is a fairly typical point in padel. You can see the server, they start at the net position, they're trying to hold that net position with the bandeja, and the point goes from being attack to defense for both sides, and there's no one really going for a big winner. It's all about moving your opponents into difficult positions. Here comes across and he goes for an angle shot to keep them in the back, again a bandeja into the corner, and you end up winning the point like that.
The second tip is watch your opponents. Now, you can get so many visual cues from the way they're setting up for the ball, and it will tell you what type of ball you're going to receive. Too many players are just watching the ball and they're ignoring their opponents, and therefore they can't anticipate where they should be moving or what type of shot they should be hitting next. So, when you've hit a shot, you need to watch what your opponents are doing. Are they setting up that they're going to defend and they're out of position, they're off balance, or are they in a good position and you can see that they've got that opportunity to lob? Because you will react very differently to those two scenarios. So, you need to be watching exactly what your opponent are doing and taking in as much information about their racket head and their arm movement as possible.
So looking at body position to predict the shot, you can see racket face is open and lower than the height of the ball, means he's got to come up through the ball and likely to hit a lob. Therefore, you already start preparing for that when you see it. Again here, the racket is below the height of the ball, it's open and he's got to hit up on that ball in order to get it over the net. So again, you're waiting for a lob. And on this one, you can see that the racket head is similar height to the ball, so he can choose to hit down if he wants to. There's a little bit of disguise on that shot, but if you look closely, it's often easier to anticipate.
The third tip is to move quickly into that next position. So if you have hit a good shot, you forced your opponent out, and you can see that there's a weak reply, you need to get on that ball quickly to get into position. Now, moving forward at net, if you're at the net position, coming forward quickly and hitting a volley, not only means that your opponent's out of position, but also you're more likely to contact above net height, which means you can hit down on that ball, be a little bit more aggressive, and therefore it's more difficult for them to return.
There are several occasions in padel when you need to be fast up into position, one of which is after the serve, getting to the net, also holding the net if you're hitting a bandeja to get back into your net position. Again, a high lob here, you can see that they come back fast after the bandeja to hold the net, and even if you've lobbed and come forward, you're blocking that ball, you've got to be in a good position for that. Here he's going for an aggressive smash, the player runs forward quickly so that he can attack it, and this is the important one, that he sees the ball early, gets into a nice position to finish that point.
Here I've given 3 tips, but you need to be able to combine these tips if you want to consistently win points. You're not going to win points by having extra power and smacking the ball from out of position. You're more likely to be making mistakes. So what you want to be doing is being patient, waiting for that opportunity, because it's not going to happen straight away. Secondly, you want to see how your opponents are going to react to your ball. And thirdly, get into that position quickly in order to finish the point. Now, you should also be focusing on the shot before your winning shot. Now, that's the one that really needs to be positioned well. You need to force your opponents as far out of the way as possible in order to open up that gap. It's actually more difficult to hit a good penultimate shot than the final winning blow. Now, if you haven't seen the objective of padel video, that's a good one just to recap how you can get to that net position, because that's where you want to be finishing the point from if you can.